Good morning, good morning. Welcome to JU-Ice channel. And thank you, Heavenly Father, for waking me up this morning. Such a beautiful morning. It's bright and sunny, but there's a chill in the air. Folks, fall is coming in on us. It's coming in really fast. And the nights is cool because I sleep with my windows open. And you could feel the breeze, and then when you wake up wee hours of the morning, you could feel the briskness of the cool air. And you know, that's letting us know that fall is right around the corner. It's hot in the day and cool at night. Yeah, buddy, I remember those days in New York City. But usually you'll start feeling the coolness around September, like right before the Labor Day, no, right after the Labor Day parade. But I don't know how it is now because I haven't been there since 2020 to experience that. Thank God for Jesus. Anyway, don't get me wrong. I don't hate New York. I just had enough of it. You know what I'm saying? And when you had enough of something, you just have to move on. For real. Why stay in something and you're not really advancing nowhere? You have to put your mind to it and get up and get out and experience and explore other places or other jobs or other things. You know what I'm saying? You have to. Don't just stay in one spot because you will never really know what was intended for you. You know, what God really had put there for you. You know what I'm saying? You have to follow your dreams. You have to follow your mind. You can't follow other folks. You have to follow your own mind. Because everyone out there has a different journey. We might all start off the same, which we really don't. But we always go different directions. There's always people trying to block us from making that move, but there's a Heavenly Father above, and I'm telling you, them angels, they be popping up, popping around, and you know, you be hearing them little voices in your head, you know, your conscience, your subconscious, or whatever, your gut feeling, you know, they be telling you, but some people don't pay attention to it. You know what I'm saying? They just don't. And they miss out on all the stuff, the good stuff that they were supposed to get. I'm dead serious. So you gotta always follow your instinct, your gut feeling. Your body talks to you. God talks to you. You get dreams. Many of us get dreams, but we don't follow them. You know what I'm saying? We don't pay attention to them. But I'm one that started over the years paying attention to mine. I'm dead serious. You have to. For real. I had another dream last night. Well, early this morning, because that's when I get them. It was a beautiful dream, but it was a bit scary. And you know, I wanted to stay in some areas, but then I'm glad that I left, that I moved on. I saw my daughter's cousins and her great aunt, they live in New York City. And my daughter wasn't in the dream. Her two daughters were my granddaughters. And my daughter's grandfather, he's still alive. He's in his 90s. That's on her dad's side. He was in the dream. He's really getting down in age. You know what I'm saying? He lives in the South. He lives in North Carolina. And he was in the dream. And, you know, as I said, he's getting down in age. So they were attendants that usually come to the house, you know, like to give him his medication and stuff like that and check on him. But the weirdest thing, it so happened that I was there with him. The others weren't there. They went out. The kids went to school. And my daughter's great aunt, she was in one of the rooms, you know, probably her bedroom or something. But these two gentlemen, never seen them before. You know, they came in and they said they were there to give him his medication, to check on him. So I let them do what they had to do. Then I didn't know when they left, but he came out to me and he was saying that these two men, they came there to kill him. So I said, what? So he repeated it, and then he was so afraid, you know, he kept hiding in the closet and stuff like that. Then two other men came, and these two other men were actually the people that was supposed to be giving him his medication, checking on him, not the other two that came first, but they had credentials. Anyway, you know, he just stood there and he was really scared. He was afraid. He was hiding in the room, hiding in the closet. All right, I moved away from that, and I told his sister-in-law, that's my daughter's great aunt, I told her what he said. And you know, she was shocked hearing that. But then, you know, we just moved on from that. And the next part of the dream was I saw a family member of mine. You know, we said she's our cousin. She lives in Queens, New York, and she's up there in her 80s, if not in her 90s. I think she's in her 90s, but she don't like to tell people her age. Anyway, she's getting down too. And this lady is a person that don't really like to travel around and stuff like that. She'll only go places if someone drives her there and stuff like that. But other than that, she just don't like going out by herself or whatever. I don't know what the problem was. You know, it's always been like that. But it was so weird. I was in this area. It was supposed to be, it looked like Crown Heights. Then it looked like East New York, you know, because I saw some of the streets and stuff like that. Pitkin Avenue and Bronzeville over that side. But it was like so different. It was a lot of buildings and stuff like that. They had a lot of gangs and stuff in those areas. So, you know, you had to be very careful And I happened to run across her. I was heading back home because my granddaughters and them, they came home from school and they didn't want to leave their cousins as yet. So they decided to spend another night. So I said, all right, I'll just go home. And that time, I was living on Nostrand Avenue. This is in Flatbush. So I was walking to go get the B46 to get home. The B46 is Utica Avenue bus. And then I would have taken another bus from there to head to Nostrand, which is the B6. But I ran into this cousin, and I found it so weird because she never liked to leave the house unless somebody is driving her to wherever she had to go. And the weirdest thing was, here she was walking out there in that area, which is not really safe, and she was going to this lady's house. She had a gift in her hand, a little teddy bear, and the gift was wrapped up in gift wrapping paper. So she said to me, aren't you going to see such and such? She named a person by name. And I looked at her and I was like, no, why should I go see her? She said, well, she was sick, so I'm taking her something. I'm taking this gift over to give her, I'm going to go check on her, visit her. So I was like, okay, but I looked at her and then I kept walking and I said to myself, why should I go visit somebody that don't even visit me? When I'm sick, they don't visit me. They don't even call me to check on me. So why should I do that? But, that's how she is. She would check on certain people and call certain people, give certain people money or whatever. That's how she is. You know what I'm saying? But don't get me wrong. I'm not a mean person, but I just didn't fancy this lady to be doing that because she never did it to anyone that I know, not even myself. But this lady, she had my cousin family member, she had liked this lady. I don't know what the lady used to do for her or whatever, but she had a liking for her. So she took her butt out of her house to travel in that bad area to go give this lady a little gift. So kudos to her. All right, I'm walking now, going down. We were in Bed-Stuy. That's where we were. So I'm walking, going down the street. And certain blocks I don't want to walk through because they have a lot of gang members. They standing outside the buildings and stuff like that. And you have to be very careful because these guys would attack you or do something bad to you. So I wasn't going to be walking into certain areas, you know what I'm saying? So I was trying to avoid all of that. So I walked the main road where I can finally reach the bus. So I ended up walking into this area where they had, oh my goodness, it was like a carnival. But this person told me they do this every day. They had people in costumes. They had a lot of prostitutes on the street. People were dancing, whining, doing all sorts of whatever, drinking. They were partying on the streets. They had people dressed in masks, all different kind of stuff. But this was just like 2 blocks. So I decided to I said, oh, I gotta make me a video. So I took my I was in between the two blocks. So then I pulled out my phone and I said, let me make a video. So I took my sunglasses off. People were staring at me, staring at me. I even saw it was like a vendor, and he had a lot of chairs and stuff sitting outside in front of his truck. That was the Bajan posse. You know, they had a lot of Bajans sitting out there. They were wearing the colors, blue, gold, and black, you know, and they were playing the Bajan music and everything, you know, calypso. And then I started videotaping, you know. I went all the way back to the beginning of the block, and I was just videotaping everything, and just walking through. And it was exactly 2 blocks, but the blocks were long. And I videotaped everything. It was so nice. It was beautiful. And then I came out the dream. I wanted to continue, but I guess when it's time for you to wake up, it's that time to wake up. You better wake up. So I woke up. So, you know, I said, let me make a video. So that's what I'm doing now. That's what I'm doing right now. Make this video. So, getting back, those 2 elderly folks, I don't know if they're going to pass away soon or not, but those 2 I saw in my dream. Yep. And I was told both of them is really getting down. Really, really, really getting down. My cousin, family member, you know, she had fell, I think last year or earlier this year, you know, she had fell and broke something in her back or something, you know. And she was in a hospital. She's home now, you know, recovering and stuff, but you know, that wasn't the first time she fell. And you know, when you're older and you fall, you know, I don't care how much patching up they do, it's never the same. So I don't know if she's getting ready to go and that was her way of telling me goodbye. I don't know. I haven't seen her in a long time. I spoke to her on the phone, but I haven't seen her in quite a bit, you know. When I was in New York, I wanted to go by and check her, but I didn't really have much time. But I spoke to her son, and my daughter's grandfather, you know, I check on him time to time. You know, I call my daughter's father to say, hello, how is your dad doing, you know. And, you know, he's still there. He said he's still there, but, you know, he's really getting down to, you know. And I saw him in my dream, you know, and in the dream, you know, he was walking around and stuff. I don't know if he walks now or not, but I don't know. Maybe they both are getting ready to hit the bucket. I really don't know. But yeah, I saw the 2 of them in my sleep. Yeah. And no, I didn't go outside yesterday. I stayed in, you know. They said it was going to rain around 2 p.m. Stupid me, listen to that. The clouds were all formed up, but we didn't really get no rain. You know what I'm saying? When it did start to drizzle, it was like around 6 in the evening, and it wasn't for long. So you can't always listen to the forecast or pay attention to the dark clouds in the sky. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't really have that big urge to go anyway. You know, I was going to go to the flea market, and then I was like undecided because, you know, when they say rain, you know, the vendors in the flea market, they start packing up their stuff, and they be leaving out early and stuff. So, you know, I was like, I don't feel like taking that trip over there. And then when I get over there, most of them is gone, you know. It's not a fun day going to the flea market when all the vendors are just about gone. You know, it's fun when everybody is there and it's a nice hot day. Yeah. So I stayed in the house and I just chilled. I cooked and stuff. I made a video, showed y'all. And, you know, I watched the tube. I was just a chilling, you know. I went downstairs to get my mail and stuff like that. I helped one of the elders. You know, he walks with one of those, I don't know what you call it. It's a walker, you know, you push it and stuff. He was walking with that. He was putting some food stuff downstairs. So, you know, the door was locked, so I opened the door and I held it for him, you know. So that was my Terry. Good morning. That's Terry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna end the video right now. I'm gonna go groom myself, you know. I decided to make this before if I forget all about it, you know. It was on my mind, so I just wanted to share that with y'all. Have a beautiful Sunday, y'all. Have a beautiful Sunday. Peace.